Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you're new. Like the video if you like the video. And I won't tell if you click that bell. But let's go ahead and get into this. Alright, so the Giants have made a ton of offseason acquisitions. We've added guys like Kadarius Toney, Kenny Golladay, Odenigbo. We've added so many guys. It's funny that I went right to Odenigbo. He's probably not our third most anticipated guy. But John Ross, Kyle Rudolph, there's a big list of guys. And when I kind of look at what we've added, probably my top couple of players I would say is Kenny Golladay, the big free agent acquisition. Adoree Jackson, another big free agent acquisition. Kyle Rudolph is something that you cannot really sleep on. Azeez Ojulari and Kadarius Toney. I would say those five: Golladay, Ojulari, Toney, Adoree Jackson, and Kyle Rudolph. Those are my top five as far as most impactful signings. Let's start off with Kadarius Toney. Kadarius Toney is one, he adds something to the offense that was not there. We did not have someone who was shifty, someone who was a threat to take it to the house at any time, someone who was a real yak guy. Our yak last year was horrible. Now, we didn't do a good job of putting people in positions to get yak, but at the same time, it was absolutely atrocious. No one really did anything after the catch, and we needed someone like that badly. He's going to help on special teams. He's going to help on offense. He's going to provide the speed to go deep, and he's getting better and better as a route runner. He looked really great as a route runner last year. I don't know what tape a lot of these people are looking at. Maybe if you look at his 2019 tape where he didn't play as much, yeah, the route running needed work, but I see him getting really, really good at route running if you look at these last couple of years. And then when you look at a Kyle Rudolph is a very underrated signing, and I think it's kind of been overrated by the media almost, but I would say underrated as far as he's not the first free agent that you would think of. He's definitely not the first free agent that you would think of that the Giants brought in, and Kyle Rudolph was brought in here to be a traditional tight end. Evan Engram was squeezed into a traditional tight end role, and he's not a traditional tight end. He's a move tight end. He's a guy that you want on seams, on crossers, on any kind of route that utilizes his speed. He's not a shifty guy. He's not a yak guy. He is a speed guy, and he needs to be put in position to do that. And he was not good on those stick option routes across the middle of the field. He got nervous, and the ball ended up in the middle of the air way too many times last year, and that caused some turnovers. It caused a lot of unnecessary headache, drops, turnovers, whatever you want to call them. All happened last year with Evan Engram there. So Kyle Rudolph is going to come into that position, and it's almost addition by subtraction because you're not going to have Evan Engram there in the middle of the field anymore, and you're allowing Evan Engram. It's like you're getting two new players. Evan Engram is going to be used as a moved, seam, screen, drag kind of tight end. He's going to be used as those types of tight end routes. All the routes that you see Darren Waller running, Evan Engram will be running. So I'm hoping that we see a jump from Evan Engram because he's going to be running routes, one, that he's more comfortable with, two, that he's just better at. And then Kyle Rudolph will be the chain mover, the guy who will run the 10 yards, turn around, catch the pass, get a couple of yards after, but he's not going to be doing anything fancy. But when he gets into the red zone, he's a guy who's 6'4" or 6'5". Pretty sure he might even be 6'6", but he's a really tall tight end, and he's been a red zone monster his entire career. Even at this point, I think he's 30. Even at this point in his career, he still can jump. He still can go up there and get balls out of the air. He's really great on the sidelines in the end zone, very aware of getting his feet down. So Kyle Rudolph is someone that I'm really excited about being here, and he's someone that should not be left off of this list. That's why I left him here. And then I'll say number three, and mind you, this isn't in any order. I'm going to go over these five guys, and then I'm going to tell you who I think is the most impactful. Number three, I'll say, is Kenny Golladay. Kenny Golladay, he was the talk of the town. I made a video, a film session, I think, on Golladay. I made a couple other videos right after. And I also made a video around the trade deadline last year. I have said time after time that Kenny Golladay is the perfect fit for this offense. He's the perfect fit for Daniel Jones. And he's the perfect fit for what our receiving core already has. So Golladay is the big go up and get it. We have not had a big receiver like this since Plaxico Burress. Odell, he could go up and get it, but if you put a body on him, he wasn't going to be the same kind of guy down the field going up and getting the ball. Golladay is going to be a problem. He's going to be a serious problem. He's just got to stay healthy. He provides that ability to stretch the field. He can get behind defenses at times. When he doesn't get behind the defense, he can just go right over the top of you, snatch it out of the air. It's like poetry in motion. It's like ballet. He just gets it out of the air with no issues, no difficulties. It's really indefensible. When you have him one-on-one, there's nothing you can do with the ball in the air. He's also pretty decent after the catch as far as showing off his strength with stiff arms, throwing people around. Kenny Golladay he can really be a full package kind of receiver. Of course, that's going to take a little bit more developing, but if he can stay healthy over a full season, he's a guy who can get 70 to 80 catches and really do a lot of damage at all levels of the field. He's not going to be a jet sweep guy, but pretty much everything else that you can think of, short routes, intermediate routes, long routes, he's going to be a threat because when the ball is in the air, it's almost a promise that he's going to come down with it. Unless you got, 2 or 3 guys on him, there's almost a promise, and even then, he still is likely to come down with it. So Kenny Golladay is someone I'm really looking out for, and I'm kind of deciding whose jersey am I going to get out of these offseason acquisitions. I'm thinking of getting a jersey, and Golladay is towards the top of that list. I'm not going to lie. Moving to number 2, and mind you, this is not in any order. Please don't think this is any order. Adoree Jackson. Adoree Jackson is someone who really, I don't know what to feel about him. I really don't, because if he plays like how he's played for most of his career, for the times of his career where he's played well and he's been healthy, then Adoree Jackson as your number 2 corner really makes his secondary scary. The problem, again, is health. He's always injured. He's always injured, but he's got tremendous speed. I saw him against Tyreek Hill. Tyreek got a couple of catches against him because he's Tyreek Hill. But to see him running the field with Tyreek Hill, like keeping up with Tyreek Hill 40, 50 yards down the field, that says something. And that kind of speed at the corner position is great. That shows that he has great recovery speed, great makeup speed. And when you watch his tape, I watched his tape going all the way back to him as a rookie, and he doesn't give up deep passes. On his worst games, he just doesn't give up deep passes. Now, he might give up a short pass, and this is something he definitely needs to work on, is making those tackles in the short game. He might give up a short pass and let that receiver get past him, and that receiver gets about 20 yards, or he might give up a hitch route or something like that. But as far as those 30, 40, 50-yard bombs, he does not give that up. I just can't think of any time where I saw him give that up. Maybe once against Tyreek Hill, he made a pretty good catch, but I really can't think of any time that he's gotten burned, first of all, because of his speed. And then second, of him even, being mossed down the field. He does not give up the big play. And having that as your number 2 corner, a guy who might give up the 15-yard play, the 12-yard play, maybe he might do that, but he does not give up that deep play. So I'm very excited to watch Adoree Jackson, especially with the safety play we'll have, and especially across from James Bradbury. Adoree Jackson healthy this year, if he can be healthy, is going to be amazing for this defense. I mean, complete lockdown kind of defense if he can be healthy. And then I think my last guy that I didn't talk about was Azeez Ojulari. Now, I just went through some of my old notes of the draft. And from January or December, somewhere around that time, I said Azeez Ojulari was one of the guys. I had about 5 or 6 people on my list, maybe a little bit more on my list of players that I would love for the Giants to take at 11. Now, obviously, we ended up trading that pick, so that list goes out of the window. But I guess the only players there that were on my list at that point were Jalen Phillips, Rashawn Slater, and Azeez Ojulari. Now, Rashawn Slater went 2 picks later. Jalen Phillips went 6 or 7 picks later. And then we got Ojulari not at our pick at 42, but at our pick at 50. We got him with the 50th pick in the draft, and I was okay with taking him at 11. He is a speed rusher off the edge. He converts speed to power at a high level. He's got a couple of moves. Now, he doesn't have a ton of moves, a full toolbox of moves, but he's got enough moves and enough athleticism to be an impact player year one. And you know he's going to learn some more moves as he comes into the league, but he can be an impact player year one. I'm looking for Azeez Ojulari to be a force by the middle of this season. And he's really only in this list, one, because of the value we got him at. And, you know, he's a second round guy, so he's going to play. And then two, because Azeez Ojulari is really in a situation where he can win that starting job. He can win the starting job easily. All he's got to do is beat out O'Shane Ximines, a couple of other these outside linebackers who aren't really proven as dominant pass rushers. He's got to win out over these guys. He's got to be able to put on some weight and show that he can be solid against the run. But if he can do that, the sky's the limit for Ojulari. He can really come in and make this defense really scary, because if this guy year one is an 8 to 10 sack kind of guy, which he has the physical and the skill set to do it. If he can be an 8 to 10 sack guy beside Leonard Williams, and with that secondary, that could take this defense from a top 7 or 8 defense to a top 2 defense, top 2 or 3 defense. I mean, we've got another super defense in the division with Washington, but that could really take this defense to the next level. Now, when I look at all of these players that I just brought up, again, to refresh: Ojulari, Kadarius Toney, Kenny Golladay, Adoree Jackson, and Kyle Rudolph. When I look at all 5 of these players, the player that I believe will be the most impactful is probably Kenny Golladay. And I would say Saquon, but he's not a new addition. But just the trickle-down effect to Kenny Golladay to everyone else. First off, Kenny Golladay is moving Sterling Shepard off of the number 1 corner. He's moving Darius Slayton if he loses his number 3 kind of wide receiver spot to Toney. He's moving him from the number 3 corner to the number 4 corner, or the number 3 corner. Whoever Slayton and Toney are on, they're all getting moved down one spot. So instead of expecting our guy Kadarius Toney to beat number 2 corners day one, he's going to be beating number 3 corners. Instead of expecting Sterling Shepard to continue to get locked down by these number 1 guys, he's going to be on number 2 guys. You saw when Dallas kind of had 2 number 2 corners last year, or a number 2 and a number 3 corner, really. Sterling Shepard ate them alive. So that's going to make this entire receiving core better. It's going to make Evan Engram better, because you can't really box down on the tight ends. Evan Engram and Kyle Rudolph, you can't really focus on those tight ends and box them in when you've got a receiver that can take the top off the defense. That's always a threat to really make a big play down the field. You cannot play the same kind of defense. And then that brings me to Saquon, which I said I was close to putting Saquon on this list because he technically wasn't an offseason acquisition, and that's why I didn't put him there. But he's going to be coming back, and that's kind of like an acquisition. Kenny Galladay's effect on Saquon Barkley, you cannot say enough about it. Saquon has been facing stack boxes ever since Odell got hurt halfway through Saquon's rookie season. He's been facing a stack box ever since then. Now, and mind you, Saquon is actually had really good stats against stack boxes until last year, but now he's going to be facing defenses that are playing him straight up. He's going to be able to get the ball, and I mean, if our offensive line hasn't completely regressed, even with the loss of Zeitler, we still were very good against the run. I mean, very good with the run, including Will Hernandez and Shane Lemieux on the field at the same time. So he's going to get a chance to run the football often, early, and really get things done. I mean, I'm excited to see Saquon come back, and I think part of his success is going to come directly from Kenny Golladay, because the defenses cannot just put 8 guys in the box, put 9 guys in the box, and just man up across the board because of the addition of Kenny Golladay. So that's why I think he'll be the most impactful offseason signing. Listen, he's going to have to stay healthy. He's going to have to stay healthy 100%. And even after that, I think we still added some things to kind of be an insurance policy for that. But with Kenny Golladay out there, it's going to make things easier for everyone on the field, especially Daniel Jones, which I didn't even mention Daniel Jones when talking about Golladay. He's going to make things easier for him, Saquon, the offensive line, the entire offense, because you have to account for him. So you guys let me know who you think the most impactful player will be for the New York Giants for 2021 that we added this offseason. There's a ton of options. There's no really wrong answers. If you made it this deep into the video, come on, just hit the subscribe button. I make Giants content primarily, draft content secondarily, and during the season, I'm going to be doing a lot of reacting to pretty much most of the NFL games and everything NFL. So if you made it this deep, go ahead and join the D6 squad.